What's going on, guys? Julien here, back with another video. Today we're going to continue the series I've been doing for the past few days, where we're going to now look at the semifinals of Worlds, and tomorrow we'll be looking at the finals. Before we get into the video, I want to remind you guys that 1 week from today, Friday, September 12th, I'm going to be releasing a masterclass on Vanquish Soul, everything Vanquish Soul K9, the new combos, as well as the current combos, like the combos with the dude cards as well, and just everything you want to know about that deck, like all the little interactions you might be missing out on, any mistakes you might be making, anything to get better at this deck. So make sure to go check that out a week from today. Back with this topic of the video, we're going to be looking at my game against Wilfredo. So here I'm against Wilfredo. I lose the die roll, as you're about to see. So he gets to go first, which is a little rough for me because my deck isn't the best going second game one into Yummy. I do have like cards like Fua and Holy Suit that can help me, but if I don't draw those, it's a little rough. And especially here, Wilfredo opens Engage, sorry, not Engage, specifically Hornet Drones, but same thing as Engage, plus a name, which makes like more, usually like Yummy makes like the normal board. Here they get even more bodies and they can even play like more loosely because they're safer into other things. And just make everything, while I have literally no hand traps, which again is like normal for my deck. Into this deck going second, I shouldn't have a lot of hand traps. If I have variety of engine, I should be able to break through his board, but in this case I really don't. And you can see here that he's just gonna combo. So he searches his two names, makes Snatchy. He doesn't place Field Spell from deck because he has one in hand, which I think that was a mistake. Like, he doesn't need the extra body off the minion anyways. He can just place the Akroki directly in case I do interact with him in any way. But he does this, summons Lollipo, gets back two bodies. I bluff a little bit, I'm like, thinking, but no, I don't have anything. Summons back two bodies. He's thinking, showing me what he knows. I make sure to ask just to make sure I remember. The judges are telling him to put his extra deck like exactly in the space, whatever, just for the stream, right? So here he makes Herald, right? Omni negate, sure. This combo's almost over, I promise. Summon Snatchy placed the Akroki, which is what I was saying, like he should have just placed it earlier if he wasn't gonna activate the minion anyways. Summon Cookie from hand, so he has like Snatchy, a level 1, so you can always make a synchro. Surprise set. I think it's like Imperm or Purge set, plus Herald on field, plus Lollipo to tag out. Like, he has everything he wants. The only thing that I think was maybe a little bit of a mistake from his end is that the Cookie is on the field and not in the grave, so you can't immediately tag out into a Cookie. But that shouldn't matter when he has this much going on anyways. So here, it's the semifinal of Worlds. I'm not just going to scoop, even though I know I'm always losing here. I'm going to at least try to play through it. I drew the trap for turn, which is like not great, but so now my goal is to just out the Herald and then set the trap and see if that like somehow that can keep me alive. And yeah, so that's my goal here. I summoned the two because I'm like, well, if somehow later I can get to a Jialong on my field, then him booking them, I can like actually unbook my own monster. But the issue with that here is that I just don't have enough Vanquish Soul engine in my hand. Like, my way to Vanquish Soul is Mad Love and not Raisin, which makes everything a lot more tough because Mad Love has a search of Field Spell, which this Field Spell is easily outable. So he books both my guys, and from here I try to decide the next action to play, which is just normal summon the. You can see my hand. I have Trap, Lantern, and a Jialong, right? So my goal from here on out is to like either get all three attributes in hand, or summon Jialong with a fire in hand. But I don't have that yet, so I have to like do some maneuvering to try to get that to happen, which is not going to be easy. So now I get the field spell, and at the same time that I want to do all that, I don't want to empty my hand of attributes because I have the trap. So it's like a really hard like game plan to establish, right? So I activate field spell, see what he does. He synchro summons, gets the Lollipo on the field, and pops my field spell, which, correct play from him for sure. Get rid of my field spell. And now, like, he still has Herald, and has all his monsters on the board. So now I'm thinking, I'm like, well, the least I can do is just go and attack his Herald, but he shows me he just goes into the Starham, and discards a card, summons back the Cookie, and pops my guy. And here it's like, wow, I actually just can't do anything. When I go to end the battle phase, he's like, well, before you do that, I'm gonna make another herald. So he has 2 heralds, and I have absolutely nothing. So I set my trap, and then I'm like, there's no reason for me to be in this. So I admit defeat. So now I'm in a tough spot. I'm not gonna lie. Semifinals of Worlds. I'm down a game against Yummy, where I'm like, okay, game 2. Even though he plays a lot of board breakers, my board is pretty hard to break. Game 2, like, should be not that hard. Game 3 is gonna be a problem. Let's skip through this. The announcers, we just want to see the gameplay as always. So we shuffle side, then shuffle obviously, and game 2. So I'm going first. My hand's pretty good. It's a lot of Vanquish Soul monsters. His hand's also pretty good. He has Cookie, Talents, Songs, Droplet, and Storm, I think. Or he draws into one of those, and the last card is Obedience Gold that he would have. So I start with Case, because I know that he's playing all board breakers. I'm not worried about draw at all. So I'm just gonna, because I only have one Vanquish Soul monster, in case he has like one of those Purge or anything, I want him to use it on my Ripper rather than use it on my Vanquish Soul cards. So here I get like really all my stuff starting. I actually like side out in Izuna going first, so I can have space for like the more important cards, because I know that Izuna is like not gonna be live, but it's still a 5 for my Vanquish Soul. For my K9 engine. So I go Ripper. I think I already have Lantern, so I'm thinking on what to get. So yeah, I get another Jokul. But what I should have done here is I should have gone in Azuna with this. Or actually, no, this was fine. Because I'm going to get... Yeah, I already have an Azuna anyways from this. I don't need to end with the Azuna on field, and I wanted the Dark in my hand with the Jokul. So yeah, so I get another case just for later. I know I'm going to be able to pop my case for K9. And get my quick list spell because he plays board breakers, so I'm not worried about that. Now here, because I know he plays breakers, one of his only hand traps could be like imperm. So I actually play around that by setting up my Nash. In case he tries to imperm my my Raisin, then I can just Nash Knight, eat it, right? Just get rid of it, and then dodge the imperm. That would like leave me -1 body, but I would be able to play through it because of my hand. I had Ash Blossoms, so I already had the fire in my hand. Another thing that I had is that I have the field spell in hand. So I actually have an extender because I have the body on my field. And like I said, I have Ash Blossom. So I have the ability to stop this. But because Ash Blossom is so good against this deck, like once it breakers you, it tries to just go for like a crazy push with like Obedience School, Thrust, and all that stuff. Having Ash is really strong. So what I do here is actually just let it go. And I kind of play into Purge. But if he has Purge, he's down to like a lot less cards. And I still have Rock, add back the Raisin, and have Vanquish Soul plays this way. So I decide that like I'm okay with him purging me if he has it, because I can still like recover and then still have the Ash Blossom in my hand as well as other things. So here, you know, we just set up, add back the Raisin with the Rock. We go Holy Sue special by revealing the Raisin. We go Holy Sue, reveal Raisin plus Jokul. Summon from deck. Now here I'm like trying to decide what I want to get because I'm starting to clog up my field, but the Azuna is never going to be live anyway, so I actually like don't really have many more monsters I can summon. But now that I have the 2 fires in hand, like with the Ash Blossom, I can just add a card. I've already decided here that I'm probably not going to remove these cards from my field, so I'm not going to search the trap. I could search the trap and then remove these 2 from my field, like make an SP or whatever, and then on his turn go Rock, add back the soup. But I don't want to be reliant on that to be able to search my cards. Or sorry, to be able to like be reliant on the Rock to add back the cards because of a card like Droplet that could be chained. So I instead, you know, keep him on the field. Keep also the Jalong on the field, has a lot of value because he can always search me a card. So here I make the Sea Nash Knight, the Masquerade. I use the Masquerade effect to pop the case. And then I set the quick play spell with the case. And now I have like, you know, my ideal end board. I have all the attributes in hand. I have, like I show him what he knows. He knows literally everything. Like you saw, it was Raisin, Ash, Case, Jokul, and Caesar. So I have all the attributes as well as I have access to my trap. I have access to another search on his turn with the Jalong. The Jalong can give me a border if I really want to. I have a steal with the Holy Sue. Like I have so many disruptions that he honestly shouldn't be able to play through. even though he plays board breakers, it should be okay. So now it's onto his turn. He starts with Lightning Storm, call back row, which is fine because so like that trades with my trap, but I can just activate my trap, not destroy, give him all my monsters protection, which means that I'll never die. Like I have so many monsters on the field, I have so many more ways to summon monsters, and now I activate the quick play to also make the werewolf. So that I can look at his hand on like the next card he activates. I put it in defense because of talents. If he like goes talent stake, he can actually just like low-key out my board and do a lot of damage. But we're not going to let him do that, obviously. And so here, the important thing to note too is that he activates like a big board breaker, but it doesn't force me to play into talents or thrust yet. I can just hold for these cards for now. So his next play, you can see he has talents, obedience school, and droplets, right? Plus a name. So he has a way to like force me to do things here. But I have masquerade. So on the first thing he activates, on the first monster effect that he activates, I can just negate it and rip a card from his hand. Then on the next card he activates, I can look at his hand. And then after that, I still have like Ash Blossom plus Holy Sue plus all that stuff. One thing here, I think he summoned this without effect, right? Which was a good bait from him because I actually like, if I don't do anything here, he like has to just droplet and can't do anything else. But what I should have done is just like see if he summons another body, and then I can just kind of wreak havoc on his field because of the masquerade and the Holy Sue and all that stuff. So he chains droplet. That way he's able to trade 2 for 1. Like he sends a monster, gets rid of my suit, and then gets rid of the masquerade disruption. But I still have the effect to look at his hand. Now he sets a card, and I'm like, okay, that card's dying. Like, nope. And then I kill the talents, and he just scoops because he knows I have Ash Blossom in hand. He has 1 card, Obedience School. I'm obviously going to Ash it. So that game, a little bit stressful, you know. The board breakers are pretty good, but like again, my board is so layered. Like I have, like he had a way to negate my monsters. He had a way to pop my spells and trap, but then I still have, you know, my monsters in the hand that have effects that I can summon. If he negates my Sue, like before I had used the effect, then I can even just bounce my Sue and then summon it back and then use the effect. Like I have a lot of disruptions. I still had Jialong Search too as well. So a lot of good stuff. We're going to game 3, going second. Like I said earlier, this is the scary part of the game, right? I have to open pretty good in order to be able to win this one. Thankfully, you know, my deck is built pretty well. And game 3. I look at the first card, it's Fua. And I'm like, okay, we can get there. I look at the second card, and it's like some attributes. All I'm missing is Holy Sue. That's all I'm missing. I just want Holy Sue in my hand. You know, summon Cupsies, effect, sure. You know, get your surprise. I Fua him. And you know what is great? He doesn't play Ash Blossom. He doesn't play hand traps. So this Fua is always resolving. God, yes. God, yes. Summon Snatchy, I draw Holy Sue. I'm like, all right. I let him place his field spell. You know, let him do his thing. And then here, I literally force him to use Surprise. Otherwise, I'm going to destroy him. I go Holy Sue, reveal Jialong. He has to activate Surprise. Otherwise, when I summon Raisin in his column, like he can activate Surprise on the next chain. But yeah, he pretty much is forced to do this. And now, I don't think I had any Earth Monsters. Otherwise, oh yeah, no, actually, what I decided to do here, sorry. Because he has this Snatchy to just be able to dodge, I just have to let him play. And if he wants to, like, go to the end phase, then I can pop his monster. But if I just let him play here, then he's just gonna give me draws, so I don't care, right? Like my Holy Sue can just special from deck whenever. Like it doesn't have to do it yet. I can just let him play, let him do his stuff, and then let him give me as many draws as he wants. If I summon the Raisin right there, it didn't do anything anyways. He just dodged it. So he searches. He searches the 2 names, and then here he makes a mistake, in my opinion. Is he telegraphs his hand by discarding Purge, which he's going to do right here. So he discards Purge, right? That tells me one thing and one thing only. In his hand, there are 2 names, which I already know. And then there are cards that are Purge or better. And the thing is that he sees the Sue on my field. He could easily keep both Purges because he knows he's going to be able to use one this turn and one next turn. So, like, when he does that, like, he actually telegraphed his hand a little too hard. Whereas the extra names don't actually do anything because, like, he's not going to summon them anyways. So, another thing that comes to my mind here, because I did draw Tikaboo, like, I think on the previous draw, one thing that comes to mind for me right here is now that I know that in his hand there's most likely a purge, or it's like all judgments, right? Which you can see he does have a judgment, but he does also have a purge. One thing that I can keep in mind is that if I force him to purge my Holy Su, sorry, not my Holy Su, my Raisin that I summon, if he uses it from the hand, then he's gonna be forced to play into the Tikaboo without it like being able to use SP, and that's huge. That's huge. That's like the biggest out to the Tikaboo is SP. If he can't use SP, he's screwed. So now that kind of becomes my game plan from now here. So he special summons Lollipop, puts the Fua back in my deck. I'm like, sure, that's fine. That doesn't matter too much. So we have to shuffle. It takes a while because the judge has to do the final shuffle. He sets 2 and then goes to the end phase. I think that I let him go to the end phase because I want to just Holy Suit in the end phase because I know he has Purge anyways, right? So I know that if I summon Raisin anyways, he's not gonna let me get to Caesar, so it doesn't matter. And I don't want to let him like summon his guys back in the main phase. So I'm like, I might as well let him go to the end phase because I'm not gonna get to Caesar anyways, and then just threaten stuff there. So I go Holy Suit, special for summon from deck by revealing Jiaolong Jokul. Which he lets happen. I'm surprised he didn't chain the Cupsy. Might as well, but he doesn't do it. And here I decide, instead of Raisin, because I know he can just dodge me anyways, I just go for the Jiaolong, because the Jiaolong can just get me any Vanquish card I want. It doesn't have to get me anything else, right? Which he purges. Then I shuffle my deck. One thing I could have done here is I could have just straight up summoned the Jiaolong to my field, like the one in my hand that I revealed. But I don't think I had more than the 2 fires, so I didn't want to commit like my entire hand to the board. So now again, in my hand, I have the Tikaboo, and the game plan here is just to land the Tikaboo. He used Purge from hand, he can't SP. Land Tikaboo and then remove his bodies so that he doesn't have 2, so that he cannot like use Surprise to remove my monsters. So this Holy Su traded crazy, right? This Holy Su traded with Purge. It traded with Imperm, like over 2 turns. Forced him to summon more and give me more draws. Like, it put me in a really good spot. He uses the Cupsy. He doesn't draw because he plays board breakers. Like, it doesn't really play hand traps. So he just wants to add Surprise as follow-up. And then places the Akroki. So he still has, a decent amount of disruptions. Like, he's not down in the gutters yet. But the goal is to get him there. And I have a lot of lines of play in my hand. I have Joko, Jiaolong, I have Raisin, Tikaboo. I think I have another Joko and maybe by now another Jiaolong. I don't fully remember. So I make the rock. I use the rock to add back to Jiaolong. That way I can get to. This is where I got the 2 Jiaolongs from. Yeah. That way I can get back to 2 fires in hand. After summoning the Raisin, he judgments it, and I have a Staking Soul in hand. So I'm like, okay, you're in judgment that. I can just summon that again. So, that's what I do next. Pretty big no-brainer for me, honestly. I'm just like, well, if you wanted to do that, why don't I just summon it again? So, that's what I do, right? After a little bit of thinking. That's what I do, right? Come on. There you go. That's what I do right here. So, reveal the Jiaolong. He chains to Synchro Summon, which I'm not sure why he does it there exactly. He should probably just wait to see, like, which zone I'm going to summon my Raisin in. And then just dodge, but I think it's fine. Doesn't matter too much. I know why. He wants to pop it on this chain so that I can't protect it or anything or reveal for it. Which actually is fine. Like that, if that prevents me from getting the Jokuls on my field, or the Jiaolongs on my field, sorry. No, that's pretty good. So here now I actually I have the option for a few things, but I've already normal summoned, so I decided to just go with Holy Su, and now the plan becomes simple. So you look at his board, right? He has 2 monsters, but he has no more Snatchy. In order to get to Snatchy, I have to activate something, and in my hand, you can see I have so many cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the Su, I have 6. I have Tikaboo, I have Jokul, Jiaolong, Holy Su, and I think another Jokul as a 6 card, and so all I need to do here is I need to beat over his monster, set Tikaboo, and then I have Holy Su on his turn as disruption, right? And so I'm like, okay, how do I do that without activating an effect? And he's asking me what he knows here. I'm like, how do I do that without activating an effect? And the way to do that is simple. And there's a guy in your extra deck that you can summon. if your opponent summons more than 2, you can see I'm thinking hard about it right now. I'm thinking hard about it. So the guy in your extra deck you can summon if your opponent summon more than 2 times for the extra deck. I make the Typhon, the Tyfizzle. I beat over his guy, and now I'm like, alright, set and pass. So the one thing you'll notice is that I didn't use the Typhon effect to bounce the Kepsi for a very simple reason. Obviously, putting him on 0 bodies would be better than 1 body, because then it's even harder for him to play through the Tikaboo. However, it's a Croaky on the field. So if I bounce his guy, he gets another name in hand, plus gets a body on field still, like, because of the Croaky. So I'm obviously not going to let him do that. So here I just pass. And yeah, he wants my deck to cut. And I think it's already been cut, so it's fine. So it goes to his turn. I flip over the Tikaboo immediately. Like, I don't want to let him commit to like anything else. But I think that might have been a mistake. Like, I should let him make a Snatchy if he wants to make a Snatchy, because then he really can't like summon any more names at all. I think that was a misplay for me. Like, what is he gonna do here, right? If he normal summons a name, I'll flip over Tikaboo, right? Then he's stuck to having like one of them dies immediately. If he makes Snatchy, then I'll flip over Tikaboo. That way he can't summon a name. So like, so yeah, there's nothing he can do like in those spots to actually like counter the Tikaboo. I was worried about him like chaining to synchro summon, but for that he would need 2 actions. So I should have waited for him to either make a link 1 or summon a name, just make him waste a card. So when I activate this, he makes Enema. And here I'm thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, right, he plays Enema. So if he also plays Almirage, it might be tough, but he doesn't play Hand Trap, so there's just no way he plays Almirage. So from here, all I have to do is out this. And now you're going to be wondering, like, why? You said, you know, he purged you from the hand, he can't SP it out. Now, I know he has Surprise. So the only way for me to lose is for him to be able to summon 2 guys and then bounce my Typhon plus my Tikaboo. And I can't let him do that. Now that actually reminds me, I just misplayed crazy. I misplayed crazy. I had easy, like, this became like a whole like stressful scenario with the surprise him being able to bounce. And I was talking about my Typhon bounce. I could have just bounced my own Typhon. That turns on my Caesar. Because this all turns off my Caesar. That turns off his surprise. He just can't bounce my cards because I need 2 cards on field. So that's, you know, sometimes the VOD review teaches you something too. Like that was actually a crazy misplay. If I lost, it would have been because I didn't bounce my Typhon. But back to what I was saying. Sorry, I got off track there. Back to what I was saying. All I need to do here is remove the link 1 from the field, and then he shouldn't be able to summon more than 1 guy without using surprise. And so then he can't bounce because he doesn't have surprise and all that good stuff. So he summons the Enema, I'm thinking, and I'm like, yeah, that Enema guy's pretty annoying. So, I go, they're making me put my graveyard back. I'm thinking through that whole line because I'm like, damn, this is where I'm thinking if he plays Almirage, it might be tough. But he doesn't play Hand Traps. He doesn't play Almirage. We're all good. So I summon from deck. I'm looking at my grave. I'm like, I still have a Raisin in deck, right? All right, good. Because I got 2 Raisins in grave. Where is it? I was looking for it. Looking through his grave. You know, high stressful like scenarios, like making sure there's no possible room for errors. Which again, I'm saying that now, but I didn't bounce my own Typhon. Like that's crazy. I noticed that now. Like that guy should have been back in my extra deck. What the hell? So I summoned the Raisin. I popped the Enema after searching, which I shouldn't have searched. Searching was crazy because I played into Purge crazy. He already went through 2 purges, but still, like, what if he has the other purge, bro? Like, come on, Julien, what are you doing? What if he has the other purge? Misplayed again. I thought about it too, and I got greedy. I never needed to do that. So I go reveal, pop, and I just start assembling the Avengers here on res. I ask him, like, you got triggers? You got quick effects? No? All right, Jialong, which is a quick effect because of the rulings for Worlds. I summon my Jialong. Then I go Jialong, reveal 2 fires, get Border. Because I'm like, I could draw into a Hand Trap here. I could draw into, like, Phantasme, Nib. Nib wouldn't work because of Typhon, so never mind. I could draw into Phantasme. I could draw into Ash Blossom, like, all decent cards. The big thing here, too, is that usually, like, if he doesn't have Thrust here, but if he did have Thrust, that would be a pretty big out to the Tikaboo because obviously he can search Duster or Storm. But you got to remember, he went first this game. So my Tikaboo is crazy. He doesn't have those cards in his deck. No way he puts in those cards going first against me, right? So here he does some like whatever moves, like he's putting cards back in his deck. Like sure, he can't out the Tikaboo, so he knows he lost at this point. He's thinking, and he's thinking. He like normal summons Cookie. I'm just like when your opponent's lost but they still make plays, you get a little confused. You're like, oh no, like what am I missing? I draw for turn, and then at this point, like it's over. He literally, I think, says like, "Are you gonna go battle phase?" And I'm just like, being cautious. Like he said, 2 cards. Like I won't mess up crazy. So I resolve cards. I add Mad Love, which like I can't even summon. Yeah, I summon it. He's like Tikaboo, and I'm like, okay, my bad. So I'm like, okay, I will go to battle. Switch everything to attack. Battle phase with the border. We win. Crazy celebration. We're happy. So yeah. So that was that one. Tikaboo went kind of crazy for me there. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, is it right here? So I give him a little hug and then. Do I do it? I remember doing this. Oh, get the crowd hype. Let's go. And then here actually, I got the crowd to sing in French. We sing "On est en finale," which is like we are in the finals. Like it's like something we do for soccer. When our team makes it deep. So because we're in France, with the French people, I got them to sing that for me. That was hype. But anyways, so that was the game against Willie. Yummy versus Vanquisho, like low-key the most like the most like awaited matches of the meta, just the most common one. And I'm happy honestly that I noticed even like it was a misplay. Like it wasn't an obvious play just because like Typhon bounce your own guy to play around the surprise to also turn on my Caesar. Those are 2 big things, that I should have done. But I'm happy I got to notice those. Anyways, thanks guys for watching the video, staying tuned. Hopefully you guys still till the end and notice those little misplays with me. And if you want to find out my thoughts about the final match of the World Championship, then tune in tomorrow for my VOD review of the finals. Other than that, please next Friday, if you want to get better at Vanquisho, again, every little detail about Vanquisho you can think of, like Typhon bounce your guy again, like it could be crazy. Tune in next Friday, September 12th, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.